Let's take a look at how to take an existing RAPIX integrated database and convert it into a RAPIX emergency database. The first step you want to do is make sure that your RAPIX DALI system is completely commissioned. Get your zone controller online, your addressing done, label your DALI devices accordingly, make sure a copy of the database has been transferred onto the zone controller and a copy has been saved to your computer. From that point you can then go and open up the RAPIX Emergency software. This can be downloaded from the Diginet website. You want to create a new test plan, and then you want to import your RAPIX integrator project using this button here. Simply hit the button and then navigate until you find the relevant database. Double click it, and that will create a gateway between your zone controller and the RAPIX Emergency software. It will import all the relevant information about the zone controller, including the labeling and the IP addresses. It will also import all the information about each DALI emergency device from all of the connected lines. You can see here the labeling from the integrator project has come across. There is also an additional field here that if you want to add any other information like fitting details or extra location information, it can be added in here by hand. You will notice that there is currently no automatic discharge schedule set or any automatic function schedule set. If this is what you require for the job, you can use our schedule building wizard up here. Simply hit the button. The first setting here you're asked to set is for the discharge groups for the database. RAPIX Emergency will want to break your database into 4 at minimum separate groups. What this is used for is it ensures that if you're doing an automated schedule, it will only test one of the 4 groups at a time. And the reason for that is if you have an emergency event during your automated testing schedule, it will mean that at least 3/4 of your job will be charged up and ready to operate as expected in an emergency situation. This means you should be able to evacuate the building as required. You can choose to expand that from 4 groups out to as many as 8 groups. I'm going to stay with 4. You can also select how separated the groups are with the testing. You can either have them test 1 group per day, or you can have them broken up into 1 group every 7 days. This is for jobs where you only wish to perform the testing on the weekends per se, and you can have the tests happen every Saturday or Sunday, for example. You can then set here when you want the first test to happen, calendar date, and at what time you wish the first test to happen. The test will then repeat every either 1 day or 7 days until all the tests have been performed for that round. Then you can pick how often you wish the automatic scheduling to happen. The default is 26 weeks, which equates to about once every 6 months. This is for the standard emergency testing requirements. You can also select whether you wish to build a function test schedule. That functioning test is a brief test which would happen on a weekly basis, allowing you to quickly check the status of your system, but for this example we do not require that, so we're going to unclick that box. Then you can hit OK. It will warn you that if there is an existing testing schedule, this will override it, but we do not have one, so that is not an issue. You can see down here now it has listed the boxes have been filled out with the upcoming test schedule for these light fittings, but no function schedule has been provided. Now at this stage we're not going to set up our emailing or any other information here. We're simply going to go across to the run mode, where is the standard operating mode for the system. At this point it will warn you that the automatic emailing has not been set up. It will also ask you to make a saved copy of the test plan database, which we can do. This is the run window. This is where the system will sit during standard operation when it is just being left to its automatic testing schedules. You can see over here we've got a pie chart and a failure list. This displays all the fittings that currently require testing for whatever reason. At the moment the fittings have never been tested, so they all require testing. You can see the upcoming test schedules in this box here. These are the schedules we just made that are all going to happen this Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. You can also see down here there is a presence check option. This allows you to perform a quick presence check just to make sure all DALI devices are responding. You can see here it happens fairly quickly, and on our system there is 1 fitting in the corridor which currently isn't responding to a DALI command. From this point, if we want to run a test to ensure that the system is operating, we can go up to device status here. Under the device status here we have a test button. Hitting this will allow us to perform function tests on either a single DALI line or the entire DALI system, or we can schedule in a non-automated discharge test. But today we're just going to do a function test on all the lines just to make sure that the system is operating properly. Hitting this button will perform the test. You can see it's running through the test window here. It should take around about 2 minutes at absolute maximum, but it can be a bit quicker than that depending on the size of the system, or a bit slower. From this point here, it gives you a bit of a quick overview of how the test performed, but you don't need to look too deeply into this, as it also creates a test report of the test performed over in this tab over here. It will provide you with a full test report in PDF format. This displays information like when the test was performed, the site's name, when the test was performed, how many fittings passed and how many fittings failed. It also gives a breakdown on a line-by-line basis of all the fittings and their results. It will also provide you with a maintenance test report that you can use to supply to your maintenance electrician to perform any required maintenance, which can be filled out and then filed accordingly. But after this, the system is operational and ready to perform the automated testing schedules. Hopefully this has been of assistance.